I call to order the meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge for September 14th, 2023, regular meeting, 7 p.m. I ask for a moment of silence before our Pledge of Allegiance. For all those who are suffering with cancer, for those who have passed, for their families, for all those who are suffering because of the floods in Libya, and those who mourn those who have passed, all those who have been suffering from the earthquake in Morocco and are mourning for those who have passed. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act. This meeting complies with the Open Public Meeting Act by notification on January 9th of this location, date, and time, and to the town news and the record by posting of the same on the municipal bulletin board, the borough website, and filing notice the same with the municipal clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Kanigo is absent with prior notice. Council President Kaufman.
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Here.
Councilwoman Kinsella is absent with prior notice. Councilwoman Malalari will be joining later. Councilman Benson.
Here.
Mayor Papaleo.
Here. Very good. So we're just going to ask for the approval of the minutes, and then we're going to go to proclamation and awards. And I'm going to take them out of order. I'm going to start in a moment with Taekwondo Center National Championships. Okay, let's start with approval of minutes. Could I have a motion from Council President Kaufman and a second from Councilwoman Montesano Cohen to approve the minutes of the Mayor and the Council regular meeting and closed session meeting of August 14, 2023. Approve the minutes of the Mayor and Special Council meeting and closed session of September 5th, 2023.
So moved.
I agree with the.
You can move it and then you can abstain afterwards. You have to move it first.
Okay, second.
It's been moved and seconded. If you need to abstain because you were absent, that is fine. Please do so at this point. All in favor, let's do it real since we know there is. Council President Kaufman, yay or nay?
Yay.
Councilman Benson, yay or nay?
Yay.
Councilman Montesano Cohen, I believe you have to abstain.
I need to abstain from the August 14th meeting since I was away.
But you vote yay for the September.
But I vote yay for the September 5th meeting.
And I vote yay for both. All right. So we are now up to proclamations and awards. And Master Young, we see you. This is really awesome. Yes, thank you for waving. So I'm going to jump ahead to your proclamation first. You can turn on your mic if you want to.
You can hear us clearly? It's okay.
Yes, we can. Very good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. But before we get started and everything, I definitely want to thank you guys for making the time to showcase our students and their achievements today. And our facility here now has hit 9 years in town.
Yeah.
So we're making a big standpoint, not just for the student base, for what they actually do and try to achieve here. We are currently taking up on a bigger facility in town. It's happening right now at the moment. It's at the old, if everyone remembers the old facade incident where it began. We're taking on the 464 Kinderconnect location. So it's almost a 7,000 square feet facility. We're right now at a 900 square foot facility. So it's a big transition, and and it's in the works because the students do really well here, and that's what we're about. We're trying not to stay too close to what's called our martial arts facilities nowadays that do recreational side. It's a little bit more watered down in the scene. So we're trying to show our true colors for more traditional sakes, and of course, the more heavy hitters, which is our athletes, as you can see here today. So once again, thank you, sir, and thank you, Council.
You're welcome. Now, Master Young, I am not great at pronouncing names.
Yes.
So please offer my apologies for any mistakes I made.
Everyone's okay, yes? Alright, they're
All
okay,
right,
yes.
all right. Proclamation. Whereas JS Taekwondo Team Tiger team was led by Master Young. And whereas Team Tiger spent many hours training and preparing for the national championships. And whereas the 2023 USA National Championships were held in Jacksonville, Florida on July 7th through 10th, 2023. Whereas the 2023 Tiger team were comprised of the following members. Shirk, Real,
Raise your hand.
Azim, second place, board breaking. Claire, Kim, first place, sparring, light middle category. Hiba, Real, Azim, first place, sparring, Batum category. Bora Ozkan, first place, sparring, welter category. Theo Munoz, third place, sparring, light category. Benjamin An, second place, sparring, light category. Arden Lee, first place, sparring, thin category. Second place, Pumse. Noah Hong, first place, sparring, light category. Matthew An, third place, sparring, light category. Young Hee Young, assistant coach. Therefore be it resolved that I, Thomas Papaleo, Mayor, and on behalf of the council, celebrate NJ Taekwondo Center of River Edge's commitment and dedication to inspire future generations of Taekwondo athletes. Congratulations to you all. Master Young.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone.
You're welcome, Master
Yes,
Young.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right, take care. All right. Is Arlene present? No, the nurse is not present. So I'm now going to jump to, hold on here. Scrolling through the screens, please give me a moment. I'm going to go to Hispanic Heritage and leave the two cancer just in case Arlene is able to come. Okay, let me go. Okay, proclamation. Whereas more than 50 years after the United States first observed what was then National Hispanic Heritage Week, Hispanics represent a vibrant and thriving part of our diverse nation. Their histories and cultures stretch across centuries, and the contribution of those who come to our shores today in search of their dreams continue to add new chapters in our national history. And whereas America has always drawn its strength from the contributions of a diverse people and throughout our nation, Hispanics are advancing our economy, improving our communities, and bettering our country. And whereas during National Hispanic Heritage Month, we renew our commitment to ensuring our remains a society where the talent and potential of all its members can be fully realized. And whereas Hispanic Heritage Month is a time to honor the rich heritage of the Hispanic community and celebrate its countless achievements as we celebrate the rich and vibrant traditions of faith, family, hard work, and patriotism within their communities. Therefore, I, Thomas Papaleo, Mayor of the Borough of River Edge, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2023 as Hispanic Heritage Month, as we honor the contribution of the Hispanic community to our borough. All right. I don't know if Arlene is here, but I'm going to now move to the two medically related proclamations. I'll read through both, and if Arlene's here, I'll then give her a moment to speak. Arlene Faustini is our borough nurse. Proclamation. Whereas this year, approximately 288,300 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in the United States alone. One man every 2 minutes, and roughly 34,700 will die this year from the disease, about 3,500 more than 2020, which is one man for every 15 seconds. Whereas in New Jersey, an estimated 9,460 new cases of prostate cancer will be diagnosed, and an estimated sadly, 730 deaths will occur just in the state of New Jersey in 2023. Whereas men with relatives, fathers, brothers, son, with a history of prostate cancer are twice as likely to develop the disease. Whereas prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in American men and the third leading cause of cancer deaths behind lung and colon cancer. Whereas 1 in 8 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer in a lifetime, and 1 in 6 African American men will develop prostate cancer in their lifetime. Overall, African American men are 1.7 times, almost 2 times more likely to be diagnosed, with 2.1 times more likely to die from prostate cancer than white men. Whereas veterans who were exposed to herbicides like Agent Orange are increased risk for developing prostate cancer and are more likely, sadly, to have an aggressive form of the disease. Sadly for everything, but serving our nation should not be a source of loss of life unnecessarily. Whereas education requires prostate cancer and early detection strategies is critical to saving lives, preserving and protecting our families, as well as economic and social burden of prostate cancer is huge on families. And whereas if caught early, prostate cancer has a 5-year survival rate of nearly 100%. However, for late-stage prostate cancer, the ones that are not found early, the 5-year survival rate is 31%. Whereas many more men will be diagnosed in 2023 at a later stage because of delayed screenings and treatments due to COVID-19, and whereas all men are at risk for prostate cancer, and we encourage the citizens of River Edge to increase the importance of prostate awareness and screenings. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Thomas Papaleo, Mayor of the Borough of River Edge, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And our last proclamation. Whereas September is designated as Childhood Cancer Awareness Time, which is so sad, a time to honor and remember children and families affected by these rare diseases and help rally support to give kids with cancer better outcomes. And whereas 15,780 children under the age of 21 are diagnosed with cancer every year, and approximately 1/4 of them will not survive the disease. And whereas cancer treatments turn the lives of the entire family upside down, and the objective of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is to put a spotlight on the type of cancers that largely affect children and survivorship issues. Whereas during the month of September, 25,000 families around the world will get the horrible news that their child or teen has cancer, and 6,667 families will experience the loss of a child. Whereas a child's cancer is not just one disease, but it's made up of dozens types and countless subtypes of cancer that spares no social, economic, ethnic, racial, or geographical class. Whereas cancer kills more children than AIDS, asthma, cystic fibrosis, diabetes, muscular dystrophy combined, and despite the major advancements in treatments, research is vastly and consistently underfunded. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Thomas Papaleo, Mayor of the Borough of River Edge, on behalf of the Council, do proclaim September 2023 as Childhood Awareness Month. Do we have anyone to speak to that? Not this time. That's okay. That's okay. Let me just say that our hearts go out to all the families and especially the mothers and fathers, as well as brothers and sisters, who watch their children and their siblings suffer, and that we recognize that their suffering is not simply sympathetic, but empathetic, because it is a suffering that they share. I hope that with raised public awareness, we can have Congress and other organizations direct more funding to childhood cancer needs. Okay, could I have a motion from Councilman Benson and a second from Council President Kaufman to open to the public on any item on the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
So if anyone has a question regarding an item on the agenda, just raise your hand. I'll allow you to speak and you can say your name and address and we'll go from there. Does not look like anyone does.
Okay, so let's close to the public. Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Montesano, a second from Councilman Benson?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Oh,
could I have,
someone did raise their hand.
oh, then we'll go back. Council, without objection, we will reopen. Is there objection?
No.
Hearing none,
No.
we are reopen.
Okay, 1 second. Tony Pasqualicchio.
Sure.
Hi there. Yeah, I thank you for,
Tony, you just got to say your full name. You
Yep,
don't have to say
yep.
your house address, but your street address.
all right, sure. Tony Pasqualicchio, 92 Surrey Lane. All right. Is that good?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
You
great.
have the floor.
All right. So, first of all, thank you all for, kind of setting up the pickleball courts in town. But just to bring to everyone's attention that the tape is being, kind of vandalized, I would say.
So Tony, I'm going to stop you
what
there
the
for a
lo-
second because I've been dealing with this all
Sure.
day. I've had Joe Rico, our rec director down there, and I had our
Mhm.
superintendent of public works looks into that. And it is their conclusion, and our superintendent of public works, I believe, is here with us, Jason, that it was the rain and the sun. This was temporary tape and that it came up for that reason. And we're going to try to get it fixed for tomorrow. But let me read to you, let's see if I can read to you the exact information I got from this.
Sure.
So our business administrator spoke to Mr. Rico. He was down there and he spoke with residents. The glue of the tape is no longer sticking due to the rain and then the sun drying out and the rain and the drying out. Our BA spoke with Jason Melito. The superintendent of public works will hopefully be retaping tomorrow morning. Mr. Rico also spoke to 2 residents and explained the situation. So we're on top of it. It does kind of look like vandalism, but the assessment that was made by Mr. Rico and I believe our superintendent was that it was due to the weather. But we're going to keep a closer eye on it. Absolutely.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
having said that, Tony, feel free to add whatever you want.
Sure. So thank you. And they did retape it. I was there today playing with some folks. I do believe it is kind of looks like vandalism because the other court is perfect. And, the other one had like the tape was in like a bunch. It looked kind of weird. So almost as if somebody just pulled it off. But we'll give it another round, another try. That's fine. But what I'm asking for is that at least we update the rules so that it's clear that vandalism is not going to be tolerated, because I think that if it was, and it certainly looked like it, there's nothing there that, no sign or anything that really kind of warns folks, right? And then the last thing I want to mention is that, the hours are 10 to 5, and most people work, right? So it's really hard to get on the court, at 10 o'clock if you've got a full-time job, and after 5 is when most people want to play. So I would ask that, you guys would consider at least changing the hours so that it is just as tennis. Because it does seem odd that it's different, right? That's it.
Okay, Tony, so vandalism is a serious crime. Our police department, we have a great chief, Chief Michael Walker, and a fantastic police department. And I know that they will keep an eye on this and they will continue to investigate. I don't think people need to be informed that vandalism is wrong. I don't know
Yeah,
that
well.
a sign would deter someone, but our police department will keep a closer eye. And if someone is vandalizing any part of the borough property, they will be prosecuted. So, and our police department will act appropriately. They always do. As to the hours, the council has currently considered this to be a temporary setup and as an experiment, and the council is considering maybe using grant money to build a permanent pickleball down at KGB. Or if that doesn't work, then they would have to go back to reviewing the temporary setup. However, we have several members of council missing for good reasons. They're not just not here. So perhaps, Anne, if you can put on new business or old business, would you put on for next meeting for the council to consider this request? I don't know that the council will want to consider it, but we'll just put it on the agenda, Tony, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Is there any other member of the public who would like to ask a question or make a comment? Okay. So without objection, we will close to the public as we had already voted. We had made a special exception to reopen. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so moved. Okay, could I have a motion from Councilwoman Kaufman with a second from Councilwoman Montesano Cohen after I read the appointment and personnel changes into the record? Approve the resignation of Milo Fondanana Rosa, summer help in the Department of Public Works, effective August 24, 2023. Approve the resignation of Gail Menkes, police crossing guard, effective August 17, 2023. Approve the resignation of Paul Hemmendinger, probation laborer in the Department of Public Works, effective August 2025, 2023, August 25th, 2025. Approve the extension of the probation period for Matthew Farley, laborer of the Department of Public Works, to November 12th, 2023. Approve the rehiring of Hayden Hernandez as a temporary intern to sort files offsite for the borough clerk's office at an hourly rate of $15 up to 10 hours per week, effective September 15 through November 15, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed or any abstentions? Hearing none, it is unanimous. For the public's benefit, there are two reports that they can ask for copies from the clerk's office, Library Board of Trustees, meeting of September 2023, tax collector report of August 2023. We have two ordinances on for first reading. In a moment, could I have Councilwoman Montesano Cohen move and Councilman Benson second after I read both into the record? Motion that the following ordinance be introduced and passed in the first reading and setting September 28th, 2023 at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard, as the date and time, and Zoom as a virtual platform for hearing of said ordinance. Ordinance 23-16, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinance of the Borough River Edge, Chapter 400, Vehicles and Traffic. Ordinance 23-17, an ordinance amending Chapter 308 in the revised general ordinance of the Borough River Edge, entitled Parks and Public Lands.
So moved.
Second.
We will pause for the vote. Madam Clerk, if you could just please give a quick synopsis for the public's benefit. The council has had the opportunity to read these prior to the meeting, but for the public's benefit, would you please give us a synopsis of 2316 and 2317?
Sure. Ordinance 2316 updates the prohibited parking during certain hours restriction on Bogert Road. This is to account for the double sidewalk area that was extended from the DOT funded sidewalk improvements in the area, and it will allow additional vehicles to pull up along the curb to drop off and pick up students. And Ordinance 2317 codifies the start time for use of the tennis courts, and it also updates the park permit process to be in line with what's currently being filed. The ordinance hadn't been updated since 1985.
Okay. So this is not open for public comment. It is debatable. Is there debate? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, no, Ann, I don't need to do a roll call for this. I can do by acclamation, correct?
I usually do a roll call for.
Okay,
for
let's do a roll
ordinances.
call. We're only three
Okay.
anyway, so go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Council President Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen,
Yes.
Councilman Benson.
Yes.
Okay, so now what we have is a second reading. We're gonna read them as a whole. We're gonna open to the public as a whole. And then, unless there's objection, I believe, Ann, we're going to vote on them as a whole, correct? Very good. Okay, at that time, could I have Councilman Benson move them when I finish reading them? And could I have Council President Kaufman second that? The following ordinance published here within were first read into title only on August 14, 2023, and posted on a bulletin board outside the clerk's office. Ordinance 23-12, an ordinance amending the new chapter in the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge entitled Filming. Ordinance 23-13, an ordinance to amend chapter 206 of the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge entitled Fees. Ordinance 23-14, an ordinance creating a new chapter in the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge entitled Probation of Domestic Fowl and Roosters. Ordinance 23-15, an ordinance amending chapter 65 in the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge entitled Officers and Employees. Could I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
And this is, of course, to open to the public. And all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Before we open to the public, Madam Clerk, if you could just give us a synopsis, an abstract of 12 through 15.
Sure. Ordinance 2312 is being done at the request of the New Jersey Filming Commission. They asked that we look at the daily filming fee to film on private property because studios already pay for location fees. And they were worried that we might not generate enough interest to film with the current fees. So after the Legal Review and Codification Committee reviewed it, they decided to reduce the fees by 50%. Ordinance 23-13 updates the fee ordinance for all recreation programs and activities. This increase was required due to the rising costs for running the programs in order for the programs to be self-sustaining. A thorough evaluation of the trust accounts found that some programs were running in the negative, and the cost of maintaining borough facilities, including lighting, has increased. Also, the cost for liability insurance required to run the programs has increased, and the borough administrator asked that I note that organizations that open their fall registrations already are not being charged the new fees retroactively, but those fees will be implemented in 2024. Ordinance 23-14 was requested by the Board of Health to prohibit domestic fowl and roosters as a matter of public health and safety. And finally, Ordinance 23-15 updates the purchasing responsibilities of the borough administrator to comply with recently adopted state legislation.
All right. We are open to the public. Is there any member of public who'd like to raise their hand and they can offer comment or question?
Does not look like it.
Could I have a motion from Council President Kaufman and a second from Councilman Montesano Cohen to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Could I have a motion from Councilman Benson and a second from Councilman Montesano Cohen to adopt ordinances 23-12 through 23-15? Oh, sorry. Do you have a question or a comment?
I have
or
a question.
separate vote?
I have a question, clarification for Madam Clerk. She could tell us for the public's benefits, when was the last time the rec fees were actually reviewed?
I don't have that information. I think it had been quite some time though. So this
I
is-
do have the dates. I do have the
Okay.
dates. It's been more than a decade and a half. And I think it's important that the public understands that we have not looked at those fees in over a decade and a half. And we're bringing them closer to what other towns actually have around us. So I think that is actually important for the public to understanding now.
I agree, Councilwoman. That is very important. More than 15 years, we've kept them flat and we're making just a reasonable adjustment. I think that's an excellent comment. Anything else? Could I have a motion and second to adopt ordinances 23-12 through 23-15?
So moved.
Second.
All in, roll call.
Council President Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen,
Yes,
Councilman Benson.
Yes.
Fine. Okay, so we now have resolutions, and as always, we'll move the resolutions as a block by unanimous consent, with the exception of the last resolution, which is payment of the bills, which we read separately. Could I have Councilman Benson move and Councilwoman Montesano Cohen second resolutions 23-259 through 23-273?
So moved.
second,
These are open for debate, comment, and or a separate vote. Does any member of council wish to avail themselves of those options? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, could I have our council president, who's also our finance chair, move 23-274, and Councilwoman Montesano Cohen, if you would second that.
Payment of bills at a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on September 14, 2023. Be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge approve the following expenditures. Current fund, $2,497,709.49. Capital fund, $855,619.09. Grant fund, $62.05. Animal Control Fund, $28.20. Trust Other Fund, $12,735.95. Payroll Fund, $17,237.71. Developers Escrow Fund, $1,006.50. Recreation Trust Fund, $3,843.84. So moved.
second,
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, do we have any new business? Our old business is the Environmental Protection Commission and Green Team request to be in person. Now, we put it off because we had a small number of members of council, but I don't think we can put it off anymore. I think we need to take some action. Council President Kaufman, if you would speak to the issue.
Absolutely. So I met with David Kraft this week and we did a practice Zoom call and he's going to take over that responsibility. So everything is fine. That's where we're at.
So you're in favor of that, correct?
Yes.
All right. Because we're a small group tonight, Councilwoman Montesano Cohen, do you have any opinion about this request? And do you have any position?
I don't have visibility to the issue. I only know that they requested this, but since I wasn't in the meeting, I don't have any background besides what it transpired in the what I read in the minutes. So if that is what they wish to do and we shall find a solution, I'm fine with it.
Councilman Benson, any opinion or position?
No, I agree with the other council people.
Very good. Council President Kaufman, would you be willing to make a motion to approve their request? Oh, is this going to be a permanent request? Is this going to be
We're
temporary?
waiving the request because we found someone to take care of the Zoom so that it's not a problem anymore.
I misunderstood.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. So someone
So
else.
we're withdrawing the request?
Yes, exactly.
Very good then.
And I did speak to Councilwoman Malalari and she was fine with it. So
Excellent. Very, very good then. All right. Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Montesano Cohen, a second from Councilman Benson, to open to the public for any reason for 2 minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Is there any member of the public who would like to make a comment, ask a question?
just raise your hand. Does not look like there's anyone.
Okay. We're going to close to the public and then I'm going to see if we can't get Mr. Melito for a second. Could Could I have a motion to close to the public?
So moved.
So, second,
All in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Could we move Mr. Melito over and hopefully he will have the ability to speak to us? Superintendent Melito, are you available to us?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
If you could just speak for the public's benefit, where we are with construction throughout the borough and any other item that you might think benefit the public to be aware of.
Yes, no problem there. Evening, everyone. We do have multiple projects going on in the borough, 5 right now. We're in the process of closing one out, which is Bogart Road 5 and 6. This weekend, they will be going through the topsoil and seed and topsoil and hydro seed. And that project would be finished out on Saturday with review for the borough engineer.
Mr. Melito, would you just also say how these projects were funded as you described where they are?
Okay, this was a DOT granted project. It was
That's
funded.
the Department of Transportation, correct?
Yes, it was funded through the DOT, and that is always funded through your gas tax. It comes down to the federal levels to our
So
state.
that didn't add any extra expense to the property taxes.
No,
And in fact, we availed ourselves of funding that could have gone somewhere else and instead it came to us.
yes, if we don't accept any of this funding from the CDBGs or DOT grant processes, it just doesn't help with taxes or anything. It'll just go to another municipality to assist them even further. So it's
But
something.
wouldn't you agree that it helps in taxes because we're getting improvements to our infrastructure without any additional cost to our property tax?
Oh, yes, because Borough River Edge qualifies easily for $500,000 most of the time, if not more. It all depends on the year. So that's definitely subsidizing the tax, Borough River Edge taxes.
But continue.
So Bogart Road is almost complete, 5 and 6. It will be paved next year. With the only thing they have left is hydro seeding. Another federally backed program.
I'm going to stop you there. I know I keep interrupting you, but I want the public to understand. The reason it's not being paved to next year is several, but the most important reason is because the road needs to settle, and to pave before the road settles would only require us to pave again.
Correct.
going.
And also we'll be working with PSE&G on all these projects, all these areas that we're talking about. PSE&G are coming through with their high pressure gas lines. So we also have to wait for their trenching to settle. So a lot of paving will be done next year in 2024. The next project we have is a CDBG grant. It's a federally funded grant. We're lucky that our apartments still qualify for that. It's been started. It was started last week. They'll be completed by the end of September, if not sooner, and that's moving along well.
And where did we do that work?
That was Oxford Terrace.
Okay. And that was the curbs, right?
That was the sidewalks and ADA ramps.
Aprons.
Yeah. The next project is our funded project, and that is the Voorhees Ave project. We are halfway done with the project. It has slowed up a little bit because of the structures coming from the plant. They're coming in a little slow. There is about 49 of them that have to come in, and they're getting 3 trucks a day. So that process slowed up a little bit. But last week, the little 1.5-inch storm that we had, it was flowing beautiful. We had no backups. It is connected to the overflow pipe. So the system is half go. It's not fully, the storage areas are not in yet completely, but the pipe is hooked up to the overflow.
So let's stop there and explain to the public. We're doing this because our infrastructure, which is over 70 to 100 years old, was designed for less intense storms. And correct me if I get anything wrong, Mr. Melito. And this was causing flooding, not just on Voorhees, but backing up the whole system all the way to Memorial Park. And so what we're doing is upgrading and updating and repairing our system based on the new weather patterns, so that the people of Voorhees don't end up getting their cars and their basements flooded on a summer storm where no one else is getting flooding, but they're getting it because the system can't handle the amount of rain in the short amount of time. Is that correct, Mr. Melito?
Correct, Mayor. We're hoping this takes care of a lot of problems. And it looks like it's working so far. So we're just waiting for the 200,000 gallons of storage to be put in, and then that should alleviate a lot more problems there and help Memorial out as well. I know a couple houses up there were flooded. We're also doing work in the Elm Ditch with this project in-house with the DPW. We're stoning it, we're opening it up, we're making sure that everything flows down to the new structures without any kind of any kind of things in the way, and in the wall and in the actual the banks that were not being supported at one time. It was just dirt that was settling in, are being stabilized. So hopefully that will take care of a lot of the problems, and that's pretty much our biggest drainage project in town. Since they have slowed up with the Voorhees project, they did move today over the Fenway. That's another project that we have going on. That is a drainage project for the flood areas that constantly hold water on the road. So they started today. They're hoping to complete that by the end of September and move back to Voorhees as soon as the structures go back. So they're going to go back and forth between both projects. These projects are both capital projects that were funded in-house.
And they're funded in-house because they represent our infrastructure and the
Yes.
flooding that were happening to our residents.
Yes, our infrastructure is very old. You're going to start seeing more and more as we try to keep up with PSE&G to try to stay ahead of them, to make sure everything that's under the road before we pave it, or anything that we can do to help our residents for future flooding events or ADA capabilities, sidewalks that the borough owns for trip and fall. So everybody, so we're ahead of them. So we're not doing it twice, wasting tax revenue. So the next project is pretty much the ADA sidewalks and ADA ramps and sidewalks throughout the borough. We're going from Howland to Manning.
And that is because we're required to put in ADA ramps, correct?
Yes, by federal law under the Americans with Disability Act. We can't just pave streets and not do the ramps and update them. We're also doing the borough sidewalks in the area of PSE&G that the borough owns for tripping hazards. They haven't been updated in 30 years, 40 years. So we're getting them all raised and properly straightened out. We're also pulling some of the sidewalks closer to the road because of the embankment that was the stuff that was happening on the LML embankment. So our sidewalks don't fall into the LML. So a lot of projects are going on. We're hoping a lot of the completion dates will be for this project. We're hoping the completion date will be at the beginning of October, and then they will be moving down to the KBG fields to start that. And they're hoping to have that done by the first week in November. So we're hoping all the projects will be wrapped up by the second week of November with a punch list here and there. Just want everybody to know the sidewalks in the Voorhees project, jumping back to that. We will be back next spring. Like the mayor said before, there will be major settling over the winter. So if you don't see your sidewalk completed, like on Wayne and Voorhees and Manning and Kensington, we're not just leaving it. It is stuff that has to settle. These are big pipes, and we don't want to be pouring concrete or doing final work just for them to settle and kick up.
Yeah, we're trying to make sure that we are frugal in our management of the public's funds, and that we want to be proactive when we can instead of reactive, because proactive is so much cheaper than reactive.
Correct, Mayor. And that's where we are. And then with the pickleball tape, really quick, Mayor.
Yeah,
Can
please
I
speak
talk
to
on
that.
really quick? We looked at it today again. The problem is when it rains, you have puddling on the tennis courts. And what happens is some of the tape lines are in the puddling. And
Ah.
water sits around the tape lines, it starts bubbling under the tape and it does come up. So all somebody has to do is step on it if it's a little flaked and it will rip it up. And then I'm sure if it's ripped up, people are just blowing it up to get it out of the way.
Yes,
So,
so they don't trip over it.
No.
So, and that would explain why some of the tape came up and some didn't.
yes, correct. And we will continue. I know this is temporary, just so everybody knows, we will continue to tape it up until November, until everything comes down, as per the rec director, when he wants to start removing the nets and all that. So if it does rip up, just call Joe, or your rec director, or call my office, and we'll make sure that we get somebody up there to retape it. All right?
That's outstanding. Thank you, Mr. Melito. Mr. Melito, anything else that you would like to bring up to the council or the public's?
Not really. I just want the council to understand PSE&G, we were lucky to have PSE&G, actually PSE&G Gas. It's not, they didn't outsource our town to like another company. It's the actual PSE&G company that's doing our gas lines.
So we're getting first string. We're getting the very, the best of the best. We're getting the all-stars doing the work in our town.
Yes, and they've been very good with this project that we have going on, especially on Voorhees. They actually altered their plan to assist us with the 48-inch pipe and the 36 to get gas done there, backfed and cut off so our pipe can go in. So they've been jumping around, helping us left and right.
Is there a manager or a supervisor in particular who we could call out as an MVP in this project?
Yes, Jesse and Adam. There's two of them that are on site. They've both been very good. Actually, we've touched the gas line yesterday and they were up the road and they just came right down and handled it like nothing. They're very good. They talk to us. If we need something done right away, they'll jump back over to help us out since they're in town. So the whole crew's been great. If I have concerns or anything about the roads or how they're put back or the ditch that they left, they'll go right back and take care of it. So they've been very good with us. If we didn't have them in town doing this stuff, we would we would be in trouble already. This Voorhees project would be another 4 months out, so they've been very good, very, tolerant working with Matina and everybody else.
So they've kept us on schedule and in some ways expedited the work that we're trying to do.
Yes.
Outstanding. We're grateful for that. Please extend the council and my personal thanks to Adam and to Jesse.
Yeah.
Please.
Jesse.
We really appreciate it.
No
So, Mr. Melito, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. We are now at the point where we have council comments. Are there any council comments?
I have one just for the public's understanding that the library will be closed Tuesday, September 26th, due to the installation of a new natural gas generator, but they will reopen on the 27th.
Excellent. Thank you for letting us know that, Councilwoman. Anybody else? All right. So hearing none, we do not have a closed session today. Could I have a motion and second to adjourn the meeting for the evening?
Move.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, everyone. Thank you. Good work and good night.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank you,
y'all.
everyone. Good night. Good night.